Hello, good afternoon. It is September the 12th when we are airing this. If you have not joined me before, I am Amanda Decker, I'm a nurse practitioner at DMA Weight and Wellness. I specialize in helping people get healthier, losing weight, and changing their lives. If you've joined me in the past, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to take a couple weeks and talk about something that I haven't talked about before, and that's exercise. And the reason I haven't really talked about it before is I'm not horrible at it. I'm really bad at it. If I was to think about the four pillars of health: nutrition, exercise, stress, and sleep that I talk about here in the clinic, that's the one that I feel like I've been the least consistent with over the last, say, couple of years. I'll do really good for a little while, then I fall off the wagon, and then I do really good for a little while, and then I fall off the wagon. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to address the main questions that I get asked about exercise when I'm in the clinic. And if you have questions about exercise that you would like me to kind of dive into, if you'll put them in the comments, and I might try to cover them at a later time down the road. So the first question I get asked is, do I need to exercise? And that one is one you would think would be obvious, but if you've ever come for a new weight visit, you hear in that first visit that weight loss is mostly about diet. And I truly and firmly believe that. I do believe that the bulk of your health and your weight loss comes from what you're eating or not eating, so to say. And I truly believe that you cannot out exercise a bad diet. That, I use myself as an example. When I ran, I could go run for 3 miles and I burn 150 calories. Well, I can eat 150 calories in a little snack pack. And then my whole run of 3 miles has just been completely erased pretty much by what I've done. But even though you can't outrun a bad diet, and nutrition is first and foremost, and I think everybody should be there, exercise is vitally important. It is great for heart health. It is great for lung health. And I am currently reading a book on longevity, or the length of life, and not just the amount of years that we spend, but also our health span, being healthier and living better longer. And exercise is vitally important to that the more we exercise, the more we move our bodies, the more we work on stability, the more we work on building muscle mass, the better our longevity and our health span will be, not just our lifespan. So do you need to exercise? Absolutely, you need to exercise. Now, if you're just new to making dietary changes, you're switching over to a low carb diet and you're brand new to this, I encourage you not to really think about exercise for the first 2 to 6 weeks. Focus on getting the food right, focus on getting your patterns right. But when you start to feel that turn in energy and you start to feel like, all right, I can move my body a little bit more, you're ready. It's time to start diving in. So the next question that I get asked frequently is, what's the best type of exercise? Tell me what to do. What's the best exercise? I get asked that all the time. Well, my answer is probably not one that most people like. Do the one you can stick to. You're like, thanks, Amanda. Thanks a whole big bunch. Well, at the end of the day, if you hate what you're doing, you're not going to stick to it. You're going to do it for a hot minute and then you're going to be gone. I'll use myself as an example of this. A couple of years ago, I got a wild hair and decided I was going to become a bicyclist. I was going to get a spin bike. I was going to get the app. I wasn't going to go all the way to the Peloton and spend that much money, but I was going to get a spin bike. I tried it. I gave it a great effort for a couple of months and then I didn't get back on it. And finally, one day I looked at my husband and I said, you can get rid of that. I'm not going to do it. He said, thank goodness I can get rid of that dust collector now. He goes, I knew you wouldn't do it. You don't like that type of thing. Why would you even try it? I generally love being outside. I love walking. I've loved running at different times. And I have a particular elliptical machine that I love. So those are the things I enjoy doing. I spend more time there. I do think doing a mixture of cardio, things that are going to get your heart rate up and burn energy, and a mixture of weight strength conditioning is important, or resistance training, for different reasons. One works on more stability and all muscle groups and building strength and bone health. The other one is working on cardiac health and burning more energy. So I think the best option, something you can do and something that's going to do both the heart and the muscles, and maybe a mixture of both. So how long should you exercise? People want to know, do I need 20 minutes 3 times a week? Do I need 10 minutes 15 times a week? Do I need an hour? Do I need to go to the gym for 2 hours? you know what? Start slow. If you're brand new to an exercise program, don't jump in and go to the gym for 2 hours. You may not make it back for another couple of weeks. Start with, okay, I can do a couple of minutes. I can do this activity for a couple of minutes and build on that. You're going to build stamina, you're going to build strength, and you're going to stick with it longer than if you just go full force in it, for hours and hours and hours. So yes. Now, optimally, I think for heart health, that whole 20 minutes 3 times a week is a good place to really start. And there's several studies that have mentioned that that's a good place. So I think that's something to aim for, but don't feel like you need to jump out of the gate exercising 20 minutes 3 times a week. Doing 5 minutes of walking a day or 5 minutes 3 times a week is enough to start. And then you build up on that. I get asked all the time, do I have to go to the gym? Do I need this membership? Do I have to go to the gym and work out? No. As much as I love gyms, as much as I love the equipment that's there and the variety that they offer, the human race didn't have gyms from the beginning of time. I mean, I wasn't around during Jesus's times and biblical times and even before that and whatnot, but I don't think we had gyms and we didn't have machines that we were on. We just exercised our body and moved our bodies with the things in nature. You don't need any special equipment to get healthier. You can find things to do at home, picking up a laundry basket full of laundry and lifting it over and over and over again, finding heavy books, cans, go to your yard and pick up rocks, big sticks, big things like that. And just move. If you can't move outside, move inside. Walk your house as many times as you can walk it until your dogs think that you're crazy and you need to sit down. You don't have to go to the gym. Now, if you like that, if it encourages you to exercise, if putting your money kind of where your motives are helps you to get in there and do it, then by all means, go to the gym. But it's not necessary. You can just use things around you and start with just in general movement. All right. Next question I get asked is, or I don't really get asked, I get told, I don't like exercise. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. Well, join the club. I don't like it either. It's not fun. I haven't found anything that I just really am like, yes, let me go do that. That's not me. But in that instance, what I encourage is something called exercise snacks. We graze eating all the time, which I discourage and encourage people not to do. But you can do the same thing with exercise. You can stop and do 15 squats. It may take you 30 seconds or a minute. So much. You can do some wall push-ups. I've even went as far as to tell people, hey, how many times a day do you go pee? If you go pee 5 times in a day, all right, do 10 squats up and down on the toilet every time you go pee. It's only going to take you a couple extra seconds when you're in there in the bathroom. You're going to have a reminder cue, and it's an exercise snack, a little bitty tidbit that has built that muscle. It is walking your work parking lot, for 5 minutes before you go in or before you go home. All these little bitty times can add up. It doesn't have to be at all one time. And for people that just don't enjoy exercise, just find some movements that you can do in little bits here and there. Let's do some tips to help you stick with it. The first thing I love to do with tips is pair it with something that you enjoy. I already established I don't like exercise, but I have an elliptical that I tolerate. Well, one thing I do to make my elliptical more tolerable and to encourage me to do it is I pair it with something else that I can only do while I'm on that elliptical. So I have a couple of TV shows that I can only watch when I'm exercising on my elliptical. I cannot watch them if I'm in bed. I cannot watch them if I'm relaxing. I can't just decide on a Thursday night that I want to pop them on the TV. No, it's only when I'm on the elliptical. So if I want to see the next episode, I have to get on there and I have to move my body. That's my first tidbit. Pair it with something else. The next thing you could do is reward yourself with something. Now, do not reward yourself with food. We don't want to give our good behavior something that could potentially be a bad behavior. And as I already established in the beginning of this talk, you can out-eat exercise quite quickly. So why would you want to do something that's going to undermine the goodness that you just did? But say you commit to going to the gym 3 times a week for a month. And at the end of that, you give yourself some sort of a reward. Maybe it's a new pair of sneakers or a new workout clothing item, or it is a pedicure, or it is a movie that you want to go to, or a book that you've been wanting. Reward yourself, but not in a food manner. I don't ever want you to reward yourself with food. That is setting ourselves up for more food addiction and tying our food with emotions. And we really need to break our foods from our emotions. You could also get a partner, have an accountability person. It could be someone that you're exercising with. And I do highly recommend that. If I have someone that's expecting me to come walk with them, I am more likely to make it to that walk than I am if I'm just going for myself, because then I'm letting them down. I am not meeting their expectation if I don't make it. So you could have someone that you're truly exercising with. And if you don't have someone that you can exercise with, at least have someone that you can call and report your progress to. Every week, this is how many times I moved my body. This is how many exercises I did. This is what I did for my exercise. And let them know your goals and have them check in on you. If you don't call 1 week, make sure they know to call you and see how you're doing on those goals. And then my last tip is to challenge yourself. Put something in the future that you're going to be working towards. And that can be as simple as a goal, a physical goal of what you would like your body to look like. But another great idea would be to sign up for an event or sign up for something that you have to work on getting that exercise in to get to that event. Here in Dixon, we have a really great race. It's called the Give and Gobble. It's on Thanksgiving Day. It's actually Thanksgiving morning before most Thanksgiving festivities kind of kick in the early hours of the morning. There's a 5K and there's a 1 mile run/walk. You can get that done in about 30 minutes. It's a great way to give back to your community because this race supports the Dixon County Help Center, which is helping those that are less fortunate in our area. And it's also getting you moving before a big holiday. So you're setting yourself off on a right track. Maybe you'll make some better decisions later in that day. And like I said, it's just a great way to support and get your health going because it gives you something to work with. That race is less than 10 weeks away. It's going to be here before we know it. But in 10 weeks, most people can work themselves up to at least that mile, if not that 5K, which is 3.2 miles, I believe it is. You don't have to run it. You can walk it. So maybe it's time to get some friends together and make a new Thanksgiving tradition and sign up for that race. You can find out more information on that at www.gg5k.org. You can sign up there. It's not a super costly race. And like I said, I think it's a good benefit for you and for your community. If it's not that race, pick another one. Pick something else that you want to challenge yourself with. When we have that deadline in mind, we tend to do better. I see that in weight loss too. If we have like a wedding or an event or a reunion coming up and we want to lose 15 pounds before that, we're more likely to hit that event. Well, you're more likely to exercise if you set up a challenge for yourself to get to that goal. I hope you've enjoyed this first little conversation on exercise. If you have questions, things that you'd like to look at in addition to what I've already answered, please put them in the comments. We're going to be touching on bits and pieces of exercise between now and Thanksgiving. And I'm going to keep reminding you about that race because it is a charity that's near and dear to my heart. It was one of my grandmother's most favorite charities. And like I said, I think it's just a great outreach for the entire community and a way to get healthy at the same time. So until next time, have a great week, guys.